Hi, my name is Tyrone Ledford, and I am going to show you how we built the Ridgecrest Community Garden from the ground up. Like many communities, Ridgecrest is a food desert where we do not have access to a lot of organic food resources. There are currently little to none locally grown food resources here in Ridgecrest. I wanted to choose a neighborhood who I feel would benefit from a community garden the most. It wasn't long before I came across Hallowed Ave, and when I drove through that neighborhood, I knew that area, that neighborhood, is where we were going to build our community garden. But wait, before we learn about how the community came together to build the Ridgecrest Community Garden, we must learn about the man who put it all together. Welcome to the Ridgecrest Community Garden. Before this was a community garden, it was a bare lot, and it took both a collective effort from the community and our organization to build this garden. In 2020, when the global COVID-19 pandemic hit, I knew something needed to be done. We have very little access to freshly grown organic produce that's local, and we have a community of gardeners that's discouraged to garden due to our climate. We have summers that get as high as 118 degrees. We have winters that get as low as 20 degrees. And as you can see, it is very difficult to garden in those climates. So I wanted to bring gardening and agriculture to this community, to encourage people to grow, to show the community that you can grow an abundance of food here in the high desert. And I also wanted to show innovative ways to create sustainable gardens here in Ridgecrest. During this documentary, you're going to be learning about my values, the ideas and concepts that inspired me to build this community garden, and the collective effort it took from our organization and the community to build this community garden. So stay tuned. We're going to give a quick tour of the garden. It is August of 2021. It is a hot summer, so we're going to show you that you can grow an abundance of things in the summer, in this hot climate, and some of the techniques and innovative ways we grow our fruits, vegetables, and herbs here at the Ridgecrest Community Garden.
Breathe, just keep breathing, just keep going. Time to face a new day. On we go, coming together in these strange times. Alone, scared, fear building inside of all of us. Tears, pain.
Now that we've seen what the Ridgecrest Community Garden looks like today, it is important that we understand that the Ridgecrest Community Garden is more than just a physical space who provides food to the community. The garden was built on a set of values that's been passed down from generation to generation. When I was younger, my grandmother instilled values in me that were aligned with love, family, and community. And when she passed away in 2019, I wanted to find ways to keep her values and her energy alive, which is a large part of me building the Ridgecrest Community Garden. So I know a lot of people, maybe see my face and hear about me on social media. So I wanted to give more insight on who I am. My name is Tyrone Ledford. I am the co-founder and president of Holistic Divine Innovations, which is the 501c3 organization that funds the Ridgecrest Community Garden. I am also the president and founder of the Ridgecrest Community Garden. I have a huge background in child development. I worked with children for over 10 years, I would say close to 12 years. I also have my master's in human development with an emphasis in social change, and I have my bachelor's in child development with an emphasis in early childhood education. I was born and raised in Compton, California. Um, I grew up around a lot of agriculture, but I was never really conscious about um, the agriculture that I grew up around. My grandmother taught me how to garden from a very young age. I can remember flipping the dirt, helping her plant a lot of the things we were growing. She will grow things such as carrots, Swiss chard, kale, lots of collard greens, beets, and radishes. We also had a lemon tree, we had a fig tree, plum tree, and a peach tree. So I grew up around a lot of agriculture, and it wasn't until I became older and more conscious is where I really started intentionally gardening for my health and my well-being. I lived here in Ridgecrest for about 2 years, and it didn't take me long to realize that um, we need a garden space here. I moved here in August of 2019, and then shortly after that, obviously the COVID-19 global pandemic hit, and around that time, I was able to see just how much chaos can happen. And I'm sure many of us realize how much chaos can happen um, if our resources were to get taken away from us. I think it's important that we learn how to grow our own food, learn how to actually provide for ourselves, learn how to be more sustainable. And one of the major ways we can become more sustainable as a community is to garden, is to learn how to grow our own food. It's in the best interest of everyone, the community, to learn how to grow your own food. I mean, your fruits and your vegetables actually have more nutrients in it when you pick it directly from the stem, from the plant and eat it. The fruits and vegetables that are in our grocery stores practically have no nutrients in it. Once you pick a fruit or vegetable from the plant, it starts to lose its nutrients. And for our produce to get to our local grocery stores, it takes days and even weeks. And by the time they hit the shelf, they have no more nutrients in it. So I definitely want to share my knowledge and teach the community pretty much how to grow their own food and the nutritional value of the fruits, vegetables, and herbs that we consume. All right, come take a walk with me. So I'm going to take you to one of my favorite areas of the garden. It's one of the areas we built out of lava rocks. The reason why we use lava rocks as some of the landscaping is because lava rocks bring nutrients into the soil, which helps our plants grow. So come take a look. Here we're growing corn, cucumbers, watermelon, Guatemalan squash, pumpkin, and amaranth. Growing fruits and vegetables is great, but it's really the education that's going to sustain us. What if I told you that cucumbers actually prefer hotter temperatures and they taste sweeter when grown in hotter temperatures? Would that change your perspective on gardening out here? We've produced over 30 Armenian cucumbers, and they are extremely delicious. Outside of them tasting very delicious, they're very nutritious as well. They have detoxifying properties and they also help aid in weight loss. You can eat both uh, the skin and the inside of it and the seeds. Watermelon is also one of the fruits that prefers hotter temperatures. They taste much sweeter and um, they actually produce a lot as well. We've produced over 20 watermelons here at the Ridgecrest Community Garden, which is amazing. This is our first spring, our first summer. So we were extremely excited to try growing as pretty much as many things as possible. We were very successful at growing these things. So um, cucumbers and watermelon are two fruits that would thrive out here in the desert. So this is one of my most favorite plants here at the Ridgecrest Community Garden. This here is red amaranth. The leaves of the red amaranth plant can be cooked just like your collards. The grain can actually be cooked just like you would cook quinoa. So this raised bed here gets a lot of shade from this red amaranth plant, which is very beneficial to our plants in the summer. Now it's time to jump into the three pillars that served as inspiration for me to build the Ridgecrest Community Garden, beginning with love. I firmly believe that the energy you nurture will grow and consume your environment. In a world where there are more things separating us than there are things bringing us together, when you step into the gates of the Ridgecrest Community Garden, we leave our differences behind us and work collectively together to bring prosperity and abundance to our community. Alongside ending food insecurities, the Ridgecrest Community Garden was built to bring unity to our community, and we do that by creating a nurturing environment where everyone is welcomed. Our next pillar is family. The Ridgecrest Community Garden is our family's gift to you. We purchased a lot specifically to build a community garden to help end food insecurities in Ridgecrest. We find it extremely important to expose our children to agriculture so that they can become more one with nature and themselves. There's also been some very important lessons we teach our children through building this community garden. Through building this community garden, we teach our children how to be selfless and how to take care of yourself while taking care of others around you. The Ridgecrest Community Garden is not just about feeding people, it's about building our family's legacy and preparing our children for the future. Our children was here with us every step of the way as they are learning the practical skills to build a sustainable garden. Cheese over here, everyone over here. Our last pillar is community.
I am so happy to share my experiences with the community garden. It started out with me being selfish. It was just for me. However, I became employed with the Hope Center, and I thought, why not a field trip for all of the warriors there? So every Thursday, we come over here and we water and we sustain ourselves with the vegetables and the beauty, just the sheer beauty of how much is grown just from the last week we were here. And then we take the vegetables back to the Hope Center and we wash them and we prepare them and we find different recipes. And it is really a godsend. I invite everybody to come over and enjoy. The gate is never locked or closed, so come on by and enjoy yourself.
My name is Rohini, and I am just so thrilled that I found out about this community garden because I was involved with the Presbyterian Church for a while. And then I found out that we had something here, and it was just like less than a year that I found that they had got it going, thanks to Tyrone and the people that were involved. Anyway, I got myself a bed just so I can get out here and see what's going on. And now it's a little haven for me. If I have to do errands, I just stop by and take a deep breath and sit and just thank God that we have this little oasis in this desert.
The Ridgecrest Community Garden is nurtured and sustained by the community. We have our everyday community members, as well as youth groups and other organizations who come in on a regular basis to help sustain the garden. Our gates are always opened, and volunteers are always welcome to come in and help with our daily gardening activities. There are always new discoveries, and volunteers usually always leave with fresh organic produce to take home. The Ridgecrest Community Garden offers subscriber beds where experienced or inexperienced gardeners can come rent a raised bed and have access to all of our resources here at the garden. We also find sponsorships for those who are in need of food resources but cannot afford to rent out a raised bed. The community played a key role in the success of the Ridgecrest Community Garden. The Ridgecrest Community Garden is governed by a board of directors, which are all community members, and is sustained by the overwhelming support of the community. Now that you learned about myself, my values, and my inspiration behind building the Ridgecrest Community Garden, it's important to understand that the garden was not built on that alone. I believe that coming here to build this garden was my purpose, and my purpose was met with a need in a community that was amplified by another major contributor to why the Ridgecrest Community Garden was built. And that contributor is COVID 19. When COVID 19 hit, it made us more conscious of how little prepared we are to be sustainable. It limited our resources to food. That actually increases our food insecurities, which ultimately creates more hunger in our community. Regardless of what people thought about our ability to grow in this climate, the idea of if successful, we can decrease and possibly end food insecurities due to a lack of resources and being hit with COVID 19 was enough to drive the community into supporting this cause. The Ridgecrest Community Garden is a representation of a collective community. And by collective community, I mean when a community comes together collectively with a solution based method to solve a major problem in the community. Building the Ridgecrest Community Garden was labor intensive. It was built in summer of 2020, which was the hottest summer on record. But that didn't stop us. Many of us came out to work in the hot sun, and we understood that building this community garden was essential to our community. Not only did we make sacrifices by working in the hottest summer on record, but our volunteers risked their health and well being to better the health and well being of the community by building this Ridgecrest Community Garden. So, thank you to all of our volunteers. You are heroes in this society. Aside from the labor intensive work it took to build the Ridgecrest Community Garden, there was a lot of strategizing, teamwork, and problem solving. But most importantly, it was utilizing the resources of the community and utilizing the community as a resource. This process showed the power of community. We came across many challenges when building the Ridgecrest Community Garden. And for every problem and challenge we faced, a community member either had the knowledge, resources, or skills to help fix that problem. That is the importance of communities coming together to solve problems. To show how practical it is to have a collective community, members of the community built our fence, evened out the lot, connected water lines throughout the lot, assembled our shed, built and painted our raised beds, and did so much more work to help make this happen. And much of the material at the Ridgecrest Community Garden were donated by community members to help support our cause. In preparation for the community garden, I think we all learned a little bit more about ourselves and what we're capable of doing. Being that all this happened during a global pandemic, it taught us that hard times can bring people together. And when people come together, it can be a beautiful thing. Magic happens. We are hoping that the Ridgecrest Community Garden can keep and build on the unity that we've created in our community. So I encourage you to come and be a part of our garden. Come plant a seed of happiness and watch it sprout into a beautiful plant that will feed many people in our community. Attend our events and educational workshops. Bring your children so they can experience nature and greenery, and so that we can help prepare them to be our future innovators. Continue to spread your positive energy. The Ridgecrest Community Garden is the beginning of many opportunities that can happen here in Ridgecrest and across the world. So, with that being said, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your overwhelming love and support. Thank you for donating your time and your money. Thank you for your positivity, and thank you for being the light in these trying, difficult times. Thank you for being with us every step of the way as we built the Ridgecrest Community Garden. And thank you for helping us sustain it. We sowed a seed in the community and it grew, all thanks to you.